And everybody to?
We are recording now.
Okay, good. Good afternoon. Welcome to the April meeting of the Delaware County Conservation District. I will listen to any comments or suggestions about the minutes, and we'll entertain a motion to approve same.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, you got two comments up here. All right, all in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any audience comments in here this month, Ed?
No, but I would like to make an announcement that for the first time in a while, we have a full quorum between
Woohoo!
virtual presence and in person here. So
Excellent.
all the directors are present.
The epidemic must be over. Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So this is me calling to us to order. I guess I already did that. Next, PACD monthly report.
I just wanted PACD monthly report. It was typical of telling us what they've done to satisfy their work objectives, their annual goals and objectives. But I would like to now say, let us know that the governor's budget has kept our budget line items the same in his budget. So
Oh, good.
that's a good first step. So now it has to go through the legislative
Showing
process.
that he appreciates us.
And that includes the significant increase that we got last year. So.
Good, very good. So that was a good message that we got from them this year.
Yes.
Excellent, yes. Anything else exciting that applies to us?
No, I'd just like to announce that one item didn't make the agenda, and that's just the transfer of funds from our account to the petty cash to reestablish it. So I have requested to put in a check for $1,200 for that. We can add that to the.
Want to count on the motions, yes?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to see if we would approve of Ed's suggestion to transfer funds. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, sir. All right.
Second.
All in favor, yes?
Aye.
All right, that's it for you there, Ed?
Well, for that, that's all under.
All right, for now, right, okay. Also, a motion request to file all bank statements for audit. This is our usual list of all the money in and out, et cetera. Would someone like to make a motion about this?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thanks, Randy. And a second, please?
Second.
All right, thanks, Vince. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alrighty. Next up is emergency reviews. A motion to approve for deposit the following emergency reviews. There is 4 of them. I know the one in Radnor has been extremely disruptive. Kind of stuck around like an artery, that's always stuck up there now. Alrighty, so I'll entertain a motion for that one. The emergency reviews.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
Second.
Thanks, Randy. All in favor?
Aye. Just to note that we're getting quite a few of these in the first quarter so far, but we're seeming to keep up with them. We have like 4 on my desk right now.
Oh, wow.
But
All of a sudden, everybody's ready to roll, right?
right, the revenue's helpful though. So
Right, exactly. We'll take it. Good. Okay, next is following up, a motion request following up on last month's motion for the purchasing of a trailer for the UTV was approved for up to $5,000, and the low price was from Cargo Trailer Sales in Lansdale for $3,613 and 26 cents, and requesting a motion for a check in this amount. We're under budget then.
Yes,
Excellent.
yeah, we went through the whole process, just so the board is aware, and went through central purchasing and got sent the 3 bids that I did receive and had her, Lisa Jensen, sign off on it. And rather than going through setting up an account in the courthouse, I've worked with Sue DePompio in Francine's office to have us just pay for it directly, register it in the county's name. So I'm working. Elaine helped me today by signing transfer thing that gives me the authorization to register in the county's name. So hopefully next Tuesday I'll be able to pick it up.
Excellent. Excellent. And then the fun will begin.
The UTV was scheduled to be delivered this week, so we're
All right.
working on
You have
that.
projects lined up, you want to go ride around today?
I just want to get it here and get it on the trailer and figure out how to work it. And then I also talked to the chief deal of the county park police because they've been wanting to do this as well with
Right.
everything. And so he'll be out to take a look at it once we get it and do have us.
Are we going to share it with him?
Be able to test it and stuff and see if it meets his needs or he needs something different.
Okay, good. Excellent. It's always nice when you can share it.
Right.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to move forward with this wonderful thing. So,
Make a motion to move forward with the purchase of the new trailer.
and Steve Renville,
Yes.
Second that motion, right?
already. Oh, wait, is that Randy coming somewhere? No. Oh, but
Who's
Ray,
Ray?
there's Ray. Hi, we haven't seen you in
Yeah,
forever.
right. Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, yes?
Aye.
Another motion request for final payment for the completion of Smedley Park Water Quality Basin Enhancement from the Low Volume Road to Delaware County. Very nice. Okay, another motion. Want to make it, Ray? Because we haven't heard from you.
Make that.
I'll second.
All righty, all righty. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. So, now I can sign all these checks. Wow. And I guess we'll hear about this when we hear from Karen, right? Excellent. Okay. All right, we're moving right on. Old business, the ATV, UTV purchase update.
Yeah, just that I did hear from the distributor that they have it available. They were delayed a little bit by, they had some parts that they had to get to put onto it, like the roof and the windshield. Those are all done and he's going to arrange to deliver it. Hopefully this week, but with Good Friday, it's hard to tell what's going to happen.
Right,
But
exactly.
if not, next week, we should have it in here. We're going to, it doesn't cause any registration, but I talked to Joe in motor vehicles to let him know it's coming. And he said, yeah, deliver it here and then he'll come out and check it out and stuff. And then we can get the invoice into Tina at his office to pay the bill. And then for the, because that one did go through capital improvement. And we will, at their next meeting, get a check for the $19,120 and deliver it to the county and find out what account we're gonna put it in.
Right,
To
exactly.
pay it off.
Now, this does not require any licensing, you say?
As far as I know, no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it's not gonna be
No
driven
wonder
on
all
the
those
road.
people riding around on the off-road things without any,
Yeah. No, it's basically because of the amount of new trail work that we have going on in the county with Chester Creek Trail, Darby Creek Trail, and Mineral Hill, and then also Don Guanella. The opportunity to off the road here and to be able to do some maintenance and patrol was something that Mark Manfrey and I coordinated with, and I thought it was something that he had on his wish list for a while.
excellent. So everybody gets something out of this, huh?
Mhm.
Excellent. This is good news. All righty. Next up, anybody have any comments about this? Scanning permit files and electronic permit submission proposal. So let's hear about this.
This one's sort of, it's been very difficult, like everything is to start off, trying to get things moving. IT department was very helpful in getting a company to come out, KDI, to do us the proposal. KDI is the same company that did some work for the health department when they started their record keeping. Moving forward, I'm trying to work through Lisa Jackson, and we're having some trouble getting that started because she has to meet with John Beck because whether or not we need to get 3 bids for this type of work. And it's all about me, proprietary. I don't know exactly enough like John Beck does on what we need to go into the county system and how we need to do it. The other thing is that it has a seat cost or license fee for the software. We would need 6 copies of that, almost $6,000 a year to pay for the software. I don't know if that's good or bad. John Beck did not think it was a problem. but Lisa wants to look into those issues, so we're waiting on those to find out what we can do. We still have that hard deadline of June 30th to spend the money, because that's from the state
Burn
budget.
a hole in our pocket.
Well, I did write to Karen Books and ask her if we could have an extension, if we get it as a special project, and she was looking into that. And I talked to her at the PACD regional meeting and put a bug in her ear, and I haven't got a response back from her, but Karen's pretty good, so hopefully that'll be a backup plan if we can't get it done.
Excellent.
I'll follow up with Karen too tomorrow about that.
Thank you.
Yep. And I think someone's in the waiting room.
Someone's in the waiting room.
Oh, Beth. Is it Beth?
Wayne again.
Oh, wait.
I let him. Okay, we'll leave that on. Wayne, are you there now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. So maybe you gave up. Okay, good. Well, let's hope this falls into line.
Yes, it's something that we desperately need, and it's going to be, the first phase that I'd like to get done is the scanning of the old document,
Yes.
and then developing a system we can use the cloud to accept the electronic submissions so we don't get overweighted with paper again. So that's a twofold thing that we'd like to do. Next year, they probably, moving forward, is to work with them to update our database and try to exchange it over to something. Maybe we incorporate it into Practice Keeper. I tried to touch base with them, but we don't have enough funds to do that this year. But we can think about that next year. If the money from the state continues, then we'll be able to do it.
Good. Progress, right?
Yes, progress.
Okay, next up, the low volume road program by Karen Wilmot.
Yeah, so the two people from the state conservation came down on March 8th and March 9th, just after our previous board meeting in March, to visit some of our sites. We went to all of our completed sites and a couple of our uncompleted sites and contracted sites at least. So overall, our overall rating was that our program is meeting expectations of the state program. We are exceeding expectations in administration and functionality. So they kind of graded us in financials, administration functionality, and project sites. And then our overall rating, like I said, meets expectations. All of our project sites that we visited, the completed ones, they all meet expectations, except for Milburn Borough, which exceeds expectations.
Oh, wow, good.
So overall, it went really well. Shannon joined us both days, and then Wade Brown from the Center for Dirt and Gravel Road Studies, who's been our on-the-ground support for the program. He was down the first day. So it was a very busy 2 days, but overall very good. They gave us some good feedback, and they gave us one corrective item, which had to do with our policy, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Just rewording one of our policies to meet the program policy. So overall, it went really well.
Excellent. Yes, just flying colors, huh?
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. I'm glad that went so well. And the Milburn did so well.
Yeah, they were very good. Very easy to work with.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Thank you, Karen. Oh, the next one, we're going to have a string of Karen.
Yes.
Yes.
The Christmas tree revetment project, which I love the pictures.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to like our Facebook post this
Right,
year,
exactly.
which is great.
Yeah.
So this is the third year that we've installed used Christmas trees along the stream bank at Glen Providence Park. The parks crew came out. I think all of them came out to anchor them. Yes, something different for them at least. And they anchored, I think 30-some 12-foot Christmas trees to the stream bank. And we finally got down to the worst eroding part. It's probably about 3 of me, maybe 2.5 height
Really
wise.
deep, right?
Yeah. So we double layered the Christmas trees for some extra protection. And we finally, after this third year, all the worst erosion of the stream bank that's adjacent to the pond is now protected by these Christmas trees.
Good.
So it is still a temporary solution. They're not going to last forever, but the 3-year-old project that we installed in 2021 is holding up and doing really well. And all the Christmas trees, except for one, are still attached. They've all collected some debris, some large debris, surprisingly. And then last year's project also looks really good. So.
And the live stake. So.
Yes, so last year we installed live stakes among the 2021 project, and this year we're going out again on April 17th with some elementary school students to install more live stakes along any eroding part in the stream at Glen Providence, because just about all of it's starting to erode now.
Right. How are the live stakes doing?
Good, not all of them took,
Right.
but there are a few that have leafed out.
What are the live?
So live stakes, you take cuttings from plants such as dogwood or willow, or I think buttonbush. There's a couple of different species. You take cuttings from the branches, and you stick the root end of the cuttings into this stream bank. And if they have enough water and sunlight hitting the stream bank and live stakes, they will leaf out and take root. So basically propagating these plants. In the eroding stream banks. It's a really cheap and easy method of reinforcing the stream banks, the roots that hold the soil in place. So with the Christmas trees and the live stakes, our hope is that we can kind of naturally support the stream banks.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Well, thank you. Any more about the Christmas trees?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that was a very good report. All right. Next up. Earth Day event, planting a water quality basin in Smedley Park. All right.
Yeah, so we have, when I say we, it's us, the Penn State Extension, Master Gardeners, and Master Watershed Stewards are working on a planting plan to naturalize the stormwater basin that was recently reconstructed as part of the low volume road program. So it was regraded with all the new piping. We've talked about it several times here, but we're going to be going out and naturalizing that on Earth Day, which is Saturday, April 22nd. We have some volunteers signed up through Master Gardeners and Watershed Stewards, but because Earth Day is very popular for all the volunteers to go out and do Earth Day activities, we could certainly use some more hands because they're all helping out elsewhere.
Right, exactly. Everybody's doing it. Dates.
Right, Earth Month.
Right, exactly. Every month should be Earth Month.
But that's coming together. I was out there this morning taking a look at the site with the Watershed Steward Coordinator. So we're still working on planning, and we plan to have our conservation planting trailer there to use those tools. And we're going to be doing some site prep probably the week before.
And Karen, could you update them on the Bear Acres plan?
Yeah, so last spring, I think it was, we planted, we naturalized a much smaller basin at Fair Acres. And I got a call from the property the facility manager there, letting me know that the fence looked terrible around the basin. We think a deer may have gotten caught in it and took off into the woods and took the fence with it. Yeah, so the fence is no longer there. We took that, it's in my trunk. But we looked at some of the plants. It looks like a lot of what we planted is still there. It's hard for us to tell right now because there's not enough greenery and leafing out for us to be able to tell exactly what's coming up. We did rearrange some of the caging around the shrubs to protect it from the millions of deer that are back there. And we'll probably go out in a couple of weeks to better identify what's going on and see what maintenance needs it needs.
Certainly a new fence.
Millions of deer is probably an overestimate.
I don't know.
But it didn't take them long, and like they did it overnight. They planted the plants, and Bear Acres is not void of weeds and
Exactly.
food areas, and then they decided that newly planted material was
Tastier than anything, right?
so that's why we tried the fence.
Mhm.
And
Are you offering to put it in new fence, right?
I don't know, actually, because they've had a year to establish. The
Oh, right,
herbaceous material is there. We're gonna keep the fencing around the woody shrubs,
right,
definitely, because they really like those.
right. Boy, well, another week.
Yeah.
Kind of. So there's actually 6 items on your list. Alrighty. Okay, next up, the Envirothon update.
Yeah, just want to let everybody know that's going on. We have 3 high schools that have signed up to participate. Pencrest, Stratford, and Sun Valley. So we're having difficulty since we lost Glen Mills, and we've
Right.
lost Interboro this year because they couldn't get the kids interested. So Karen has a couple leads for next year, working, trying to get some expansion, but it's difficult once you lose that advisor. It's
Right,
tough to
exactly.
get them back.
Really, that's
So-
the whole point.
And they're all afraid of Pencrest too, since Pencrest has won so many years in a row, but that makes it tough. But
Chris could be an emeritus winner or something, and he would have a chance for the other 3 spots.
Well, we expanded it when it was high to get 4th place, so we have combined scores. So we try to recognize everybody at the event. So 3 won't be a problem. Everybody will get a recognition. But it is tough. But Pencrest has done Delaware County proud. I forget what place they finished in the state last year. But yeah, they're always up there in the top 10. So very pleased and proud of their representing Delaware County in the events. And Mark Salamanca, who's the team advisor, a few less years than me, so he's going to be.
Sounds like to retire soon, is he?
And not for a few more years, yeah. So, which is good.
So that'd be good. I always wish for more teams on it. But do the best you can.
Yeah, it's hard to get. We had up as many as 11 at one time, 11 high schools, and 2 teams from each one of them. That was tough to do, but it was very well worth it. The problem is, I think when we had the 11, that was before block scheduling, and then all of a sudden block scheduling came in, and the superintendent cut out a lot of schools. We couldn't get them back because they said they were missing too much school with the block scheduling. I think they've adjusted to that by now, but.
Yes, you would think they would be able to find a little space for us in there.
Yeah, I think it mainly because of the fact that the advisors are trying to get time. They know that
You would
they've
think with all the, seems to me, and interest in the environment and its consequences, that there would be more teachers who would step up and say, let me help shepherd these kids through a real concept of the way things work.
in Haverford we had, and they were, the first year the kids actually came by themselves. They didn't even have an advisor.
Oh, wow.
And then Mr. Vicky took it over, and he did an excellent job for many years until he retired. And then I think the new Becky Mortland and someone else took over, and they had a sick parent the 1 year, and then we had 2 things of the 2 years of the virtual or the non-existent in marathon, and I think they just moved on to other things.
Gotta move that.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're having one, and that's a good thing, right?
Mhm.
Look on the bright side. All right. Now, the mini grant application, what's happening with those?
So we have another round of mini grants to go over. We received 3 applications for the spring 2023 grant round. I don't know if the folks online have the summaries, but I know that we did print them out and they're in your packet here just before Ed's report. So let's see, Darby Creek Valley Association submitted an application to do workshops for invasive vine removal on native trees. So after the workshops, they would like to be able to purchase what they're calling tree saver bundles, which would include tools and educational supplies for these attendees and any other residents to borrow after the workshops and go out and do some invasive vine removal on their own.
Oh, independent work, huh?
Yes, yep. So they intend to work with local libraries because libraries loan out other materials for practical activities as well. So they hope to be able to provide these to local libraries and let them lend them out to people as needed.
Mhm.
We received another application from the North American Land Trust. They just acquired the Britton Run Preserve. I believe that's in Chadsford Township. They're going to have a tree planting event where they'll plant several hundred native trees, and the bulk of those trees and plants are being funded by the Giant Company and the Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful grant program. They've had a lot of interest from the community on this planting event, and in order to give people enough work to do, they need more trees, so they're applying for a mini grant.
Oh, good.
And I did speak with the person at the Land Trust who said that they'd like to keep this going every year. So they are a new applicant, and they intend to purchase these plants this year to supplement a larger event. And they'll be doing some education on invasive plant removal, erosion control, the importance of riparian areas, native plants, wildlife, all that good stuff.
So even though their main office is out of Chester County, the activity and the event is going to be held in a facility in Delaware.
And the property, yeah, the property, it is property specific, so it's not, right, it's not, and they have the property selected in Delaware County. So.
Excellent.
I was there about a year ago when they had a celebration for when they acquired it. It's
Okay.
impressive property.
I think, was it Greenways?
Yeah.
And so the,
And it's in Chatsworth?
The county helped to acquire it with the Greenways program.
Oh, good. Excellent. I like to see it work.
and our last grant application came from the Newtown Township EAC. And I'm sorry, I have the wrong title there. That was from a previous project. What Newtown Township EAC is proposing, they planted 2 rain gardens last year on township property. So they want to, after they did all their maintenance and everything, they still didn't have 100% survival rate. So they would like to have community volunteers go out to these sites again, learn about native plants, learn about proper planting techniques, and actually supplement all the plants that didn't make it. So they are seeking funding just to supplement that project. And I think they're getting started actually in spring of this year. So,
Sounds good too.
yeah. And this is helping them obviously meet their MS4 goals and supporting their recent, they have some new initiatives such as Sustainable Newtown Township. And they have like a pledge to plant 1,000 trees throughout the township by a certain time. So this project is supporting those goals.
Excellent. Already, we get to vote on these, right?
Yes, and just to clarify, they are each requesting $500 each.
Yeah. And we have the money to cover it.
I believe so, yes.
Alrighty. So, let's start with the Darby Creek Valley Association, the perennial grant recipient. Anybody got any questions or want to make a motion that we approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, thanks, Vince. I will second this. And call the question. Everybody approve this, yes?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, the next one is the North American Land Trust, and this is another one for $500. And this is the beautiful Britton Run Preserve, as Steve tells us. Okay. So, I will entertain a motion for this.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
second, okay, thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Any motion carries, and the next. The Newtown Township Environmental Committee Rain Garden Refurbishment.
Sounds good, yes. Sorry, I don't remember what the title of their
Right,
project
exactly
was.
what exactly it is.
Rain Gardens was in there.
All right.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, good, thank you, Steve. And do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, you're very active today, good job. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
All righty, it looks like all three went through with approval.
Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you for rounding these folks up. All righty. It's always nice to give money away. Okay, next up, you're back up again
All right.
with low volume road and the QAB recommendations.
Yes. So after our QA/QC visit, we determined 2 policies that we would like to change. One of them is actually a required change. But the first one has to do with project deadlines. So the state program runs on the fiscal year. So every year around June, they announce the allocations for conservation districts. And then the first 50% is advanced, I believe, around the beginning of July. So to help us more efficiently and smoothly meet our spending requirements, we've changed the way our deadlines are going to work. So right now we have 2 deadlines for grants. We review applications once in the spring and again in the fall. So what we are proposing and what we're changing our policy to is to establish one deadline of June 1st. And at that point, we will know what our allocation is and how much we have available for projects. And then if all available funds from that June 1st have not been committed at the time of that deadline, the QAB will accept and review applications on a rolling basis until all funds have been committed or until the following year's deadline of June 1st. So if after the June 1st awards are announced, if we have any funds left over, we can accept applications as they come in and review them and make recommendations.
Good.
So that is the first policy change. The second policy change is required by the state. Apparently our wording was a little bit off, and I don't think we were the only county to have that wording, but they're asking that everyone change it. So originally our conflict of interest policy read something along the lines of if a QAB member has a conflict of interest, the non-voting chairman can step in and vote. Apparently that's not allowed, the stepping in and voting. What we changed the language to, in the event of a conflict, the QAB member with a conflict shall abstain from voting, and then the 2 remaining QAB members, the voting QAB members shall vote, and only in the case of a tie, the non-voting chairperson of the QAB shall break the tie with a vote. So that's how that new policy reads, and that was approved by the policy people at the state. So I did run that by them, and it works.
So the board is aware, in our situation, the Fish Commission, the Game Commission, and Karen are the voting members, and I am the non-voting chair.
NRCS instead of the Game Commission.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So those are our 2 policy changes, and we did just have a QAB meeting with Beth Sassaman and Aaron Check from NRCS and the Fish Commission, and they recommended that we make those changes. So we would just need a motion from the board to accept those policy changes and make them final.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to accept these
I'll make that
changes?
motion.
Okay, thanks, Wayne.
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Wayne. All righty. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Changed or acceptable.
Yes.
Hey, I've got another phone call coming in, another meeting, so I'm gonna, unless there's anything else you need from me, I'm gonna have to scoot.
I think we're okay with you, right? No, especially need your vote, although it's lovely to see you.
Thank you, Randy.
All right. Guys, have a good weekend. Thanks.
Say bye. All righty. Next up, the report from cooperating agencies. Where's Beth? Is Beth here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
There you are. I see you in a little circle.
Yeah, here I am. I just wanted to let everybody know that we're still here. We're evaluating applications for our cost share programs, and we actually, after several years of not having any applicants from Delaware County, we do finally have an applicant from Delaware County that looks like it might be funded. So, so that's positive. And if there's anything else anybody needs, just please let me know.
Excellent. Thank you. Where is this applicant from? Can you tell us that?
I think it's, if my staff, if I remember correctly, it's just across the border from Philadelphia. So I think it's maybe Wayne, Pennsylvania,
Oh, wow.
perhaps.
Must be a Dawson.
It must be our Dawson, right? That's what I would think too. Oh, good. Well, thank you, Pat. Excellent. Anything else? Okay, Shannon. Thanks so much, Beth.
Sorry that the talking points aren't in the packet. I didn't give them to Ed until Friday because
Yeah.
Karen's been busy and
Right.
so I apologize, but there's nothing really too much new except I'll go over a few things. The 2023 Grow Greener Plus opens on April 21st through June 24th. And one new priority area for the grant includes technical assistance projects. And also new this year, applicants may apply for the stormwater management planning. And grant applications must be submitted online through the Commonwealth website. And then also new, the DEP will be accepting applicants for Section 319 non-point source management watershed planning. Priorities include Pennsylvania environmental justice areas based upon watershed plan elements for threatened or impaired waters. And once again, the applicants will be accepted Friday, April 21st through Friday, June 23rd. And then I did attach this, and I can always send it to you, Karen, or anyone that wants it, a new fact sheet that answers frequently asked questions about watershed restoration. And you can share that with whoever might be interested in the topic. And then there is a vendor data management unit webinar, and that is on Thursday, April 13th from 1 to 2:30. And intended audience for this webinar is district managers and bookkeepers or financial staff. And then for you, Karen, there is an upcoming Model My Watershed virtual training. That we recommend that you attend the meeting specific to your region, which would be the morning of July 31st and August 3rd. And then just a reminder about the financial interest that they're completed by May 1st, and if that hasn't been done yet. And then there was some dates to remember for nutrient management and some classes for PA Clean Water Academy and some dates to remember, which you can always find on the PACB website. And that's all.
Excellent. Good job. Thanks so much.
Yep.
All right. Next up is Ed.
You have a copy of my report, and so I won't go too much into the specifics other than the fact that we do have a priority project that was defined by the regional director, and that's the Philadelphia Union WSFS Sportsplex City of Chester. They made it a high priority, so we had a very short window of time.
This is the soccer stadium.
Yes. A very short period of time to do the review, and then we've already had a meeting to go over the review and another meeting tomorrow to go over the review of the review. So they get preferential treatment there. On the other hand,
Is this an economic driver, is that it?
I don't know. Yeah, but the tunnel project, I did have a meeting with the prime engineer, come stop by and said there's some developments on the Delaware tunnel project in which Philadelphia and them are negotiating, and the price that Philadelphia was going to charge for a gallon of sewage going to the plants in Philadelphia has been lowered. So now they're looking at the project. They still want to go through with the permitting process, but they actually moving forward may change. So they don't know that yet. So we didn't put it on hold. It's overdue, and that's overdue only because we had the priority project that stepped in front of it, and it wasn't a priority to get it done. So we are going to hopefully get that done next week at review. They have a lot of plans came in. We had 22 erosion control plans reviewed, and NPDES permit load is really high. It's 22 plans are pending administrative completeness issues, which is probably a new record for us. We had a lot of meetings, and the meetings, some good things you'll see there is that 105 actually invited me to a few of their meetings that involved one or two issues. A substation for PICO that had some flooding issues that have been taking place there for years that need to be addressed. Martino Sign retaining wall was a complaint that we investigated where they started to fill in the creek without and try to build a retaining wall with no permits. And we had a meeting with them on that issue, and they're supposed to be coming in with a general permit. And also had a meeting on Newland Grist Mill, who had suffered some damages from 322 work that was occurring with that construction, and filled in some of their ponds, and they are going dredging the pond, and they have a sluiceway that used to go to the water mill that they're going to clean out and then actually do that project. So those are the three projects that we had meetings with.
There's always something with Nolan Gristmill, isn't there?
Yeah, well, they're right there in the middle of all the action. I
Right,
think.
exactly.
And they're a very good group, and they do a lot of nice things out there.
They do.
We had tree vitalized projects there. We had mini grant programs there, and we've been trying to work with them. And I know that they suffered from not only the 322 project, but the time before that they had the bridges replaced right there on their property, which was hurt their trout fishing business a little bit.
Exactly.
The other thing is spent a lot of time on Ari's case, which is the one that he's working on, is the Marcus Hook Industrial project. And we had some meetings. I did approve the alternative design for their sediment basins and watering, and approved their GP4, which is for their outfall structures, which they had outfall structures, but because of the conflict with Delaware force main or sewer line, they had to change that process and lower them and change them. So they had to get new permits. That's done. The field order that Linda Mackey had issued has now been lifted, but they're still having to wait for approval to discharge their basins. They have to get approval from the Act 2 or the Clean Water people on being able to discharge to the creek. They might have to, then they have approval currently to discharge to Delaware for additional treatment because of contamination issues. And the testing's not back. They have to go through 3 storm events before they're allowed to get this permit to discharge directly. So they are watching it. They did discover additional PCBs and clean that up. They potential to find more when they do some more demolition. Ari was just out there the other day on a field inspection, and things are looking a lot better than they were. So fingers crossed that we can get through this.
Still not done.
Yeah. And you can see there was a lot of pre-application meetings too, and pre-construction, pre-application meetings to go over a lot of different projects. We also had the Edgemont Preserve, which Michelle will talk about, administrative conference. And so things seem to be moving.
Right.
Lots of different directions.
Anybody got any questions? All righty, this is good. Things are moving. Whether that's good or not. All righty now, Michelle.
All right. Yeah, so we also had a lot of pre-construction meetings.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so 3 of them I think we had virtually. It does kind of save on the time,
Right.
knowing if they didn't start. And then one of them being the Rose Tree Park Playground Project. So that is the activity that's you're
Going
seeing
on down
behind
here,
us.
right.
So they got started last week. Hopefully hop down the hill here in the next few days and take a look.
Right, Steve's involved with that, right?
The official groundbreaking, I think, is Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yes, I believe that's the photos and the shovels,
Yeah.
correct?
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
yep.
Golden
They
shovel.
already unofficially started then.
Right, yeah, yep. So yeah, a lot of jobs starting up. What Ed had mentioned regarding the administrative conference for the Edgemont Preserve, also known as Edgemont Country Club Project, in Edgemont Township. So we had referred the site to DEP back in the fall for enforcement and going through legal. They wanted a follow-up inspection in February, which Linda and I conducted, and there were still some issues. So this meeting on the 22nd of March, all the responsible parties, the permittee, co-permittee, their consultant and their contractor came in, and Ed, Linda, and I, we kind of walked them through some of the video or photographs that I took during inspections and the reports, just kind of letting them know what issues we had. And Linda will be sending them out the penalty that has not been out yet that I've seen. So we did not give it to them at the conference like was done in the past. But I think that will be changing for upcoming conferences, so.
And just so the board is prepared, there may be some backlash because it's a penalty that I've seen hanging around a little bit. Is higher than we've ever had before, so.
Ooh. So there'll be some pushback.
Don't know that, but I'm just warning people.
What's the order of magnitude?
Hmm?
What's the fine? I have no idea what these fines are.
Well, we used to do in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. This was somewhere in $1,000 range, I think. But that could change. I mean, she didn't do the final negotiation or final thing, but that was just the ballpark she gave us to talk about.
And I will be back out there this Thursday, because we brought up to them the still outstanding issues on the site, and just letting them know, you know, cooperation and voluntary compliance moving forward still has to be conducted and will be a big help, because if we have a few inspection reports with the repeat violations, notable violations, we can have a penalty for them down the line as well.
And just so the board is aware, we've already gotten some backlash a little bit because we have homeowners now that have been told that the reason they can't convert the basins is because we're stopping them. And the one person their house can't start until the basin's removed.
Which I don't believe, looking at the sequence, that is accurate as far as from our end goes. So I did express to the homeowner that, excuse me, that the basins before they're converted do need our permission, but I said per the sequence, it does not appear that the conversion needs to happen before your lot starts. So I think it might be an access thing where if they build all the homes around it, they're not going to be able to get back to the building. Yeah. So, I mean, the two homeowners so far have been pretty receptive, you know. And, yeah.
I would think that they would want it to be done the right way. You know, it just seems to me, but you never know.
So.
It's a lot of, these houses are over $1 million. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's where that stands. So hopefully by next month, we'll have an update if the penalty gets sent out, and if, I don't know if challenge is the right word, if they challenge it or not.
Right, exactly.
So I'll interject with a fun thing. So Karen and I, we judged the environmental science category at the Delaware County Science Fair this year.
Did you?
So I think a little less projects than in the past, but still a decent turnout. This is Karen's first year judging, so, so I hope she enjoyed it. And then just one last thing I wanted to highlight is that we received a complaint via the DEP complaint line regarding a bridge in the county in Aston Township. It was covered by a GP11 that DEP issued about 6 years ago. It's called on the permit it says Crozierville Road, but it's between Crozierville Road and Mount Road, so it's technically New Road. It's a very small section, but it's a county bridge. So the permit's in the county's name. And looking at the permit, they had the restriction where they could not work in the stream between March 1st and June 15th. So everyone got involved and was copied on the complaint, including Fish and Boat. I met out with Fish and Boat and the contractor last Friday. And Fish and Boat was going to give them, I guess, some type of direction whether or not, if they did proceed, what they could do, what they couldn't do. The latest update is that they the contractor is applying for a waiver of these permit requirements so they can work in the stream at this point, because that's not obtained prior. So they have all their cofferdams on both sides of the creek. We don't want them most likely to remove them and cause more pollution at this point. But they can do work up above. And then just the complicated, there's a potential change in the project as well, because they hit a lot of rock and they would have to either go down deeper through the rock or just leave it at the elevation. So that was another change. But everyone is aware of the necessary parties.
And you're keeping all the reins and.
Yeah, so we're concerned about obviously the erosion sediment control, and if they do stop work, then you will need to stabilize the area.
Right, exactly.
And then it was opening day for trout season on Saturday, the 1st, so the fishing boat was concerned. So yeah, we will continue to inspect that site as well, and Ed did let Public Works know the situation and what was happening, so.
Maybe we get right in the middle of it, you know.
Well, no, it's common courtesy since she's on employed on our team, that we would let her know that something that we got a complaint on.
Right.
It's not really, Michelle did a 102 and 105 inspection.
Right.
But the Fish Commission is really the one pulling it right now because of the drought restriction.
So, that's all I have to highlight unless
Seems
anyone
like
has
you were busy
questions.
enough, really.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Always good to hear complete report from you, this is good. Okay, next up is Ollie, and he's gonna tell us about the Connie Marcus.
Yes, yeah. I mean, just to like kind of do a quick overview, there's not really much else to report other than what's been touched on by Ed thus far about the soccer stadium, the soccer fields going up in Chester, and then the Marcus Hook site. I actually was out there today with Linda to inspect the site. The basins are almost complete. There's just the retaining walls for 2 of the basins that need to go in and liners, but they've got their temporary pumping situation that was approved on the CAP all set up. They're just waiting for the approval from Dustin. And I believe that he's waiting for results from Rue, who is their environmental consultant, to make sure that the water in the basins isn't contaminated, is allowed to discharge directly into the stream. So really at the present moment, we're waiting for Dustin's go ahead for them to go ahead and pump, and then they will finish the 2 other basins, get their lining in, the retaining walls, and some utilities that there's a lot of intersecting actions that are going on that need to be done at once. So it's in a much better condition than when I was out there in January, and it's in a better condition than when I was out there at the beginning of last month. So
good.
it is
things are
improving.
moving in the right direction.
Yes.
And to be clear, they do have the ability, they have an authorization to pump to the core. So they can pump the water out of the basement to keep it so it doesn't breach or.
Yeah, there's no risk of overflowing.
Oh, good, yes, we don't want that.
No. So it's, definitely on its way. So,
Good, progress,
yes.
again.
Yeah, now I'm gonna do the minor amendment technical review, and then DEP will do their review, because there's the changes occurring are to the PCSM plan, but they're being addressed and reviewed properly. So,
Good work.
thank you. If anybody has any questions, my report's in the packet. Let me know if there's anything else that I can clear up.
Next up is last but not least.
So I've mainly been working on all of the permits coming in. The stack got pretty high.
Looks like you've done quite a few though, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's really what I was doing and keeping up with inspections and
Doing your job. Exactly. All right. Excellent. Is that it for you? You have no more statements? All righty. And next, we have Karen. Who has the pavilion closer?
I do actually have some additional things. Let's see, so the Keystone 10 Million Tree Program. Finally got an update on tree deliveries. They are coming on Friday. And I learned of that yesterday morning.
Not a moment too soon.
Yeah.
Good Friday.
On Good
Friday.
Yeah.
So,
Good Tree Friday.
fortunately, I'll be in the area, so I'll be able to receive the trees. I have a bunch of volunteers signed up to help me sort them and unload the tractor trailer that's coming back here. I think we're gonna get about 2,000 trees, which adds up to about 80 flats of 25 each. Most of them are gonna be leaving here right away, fortunately, so we're not gonna be storing trees. It's been a lot of coordinating of where to put them. I need to find out who's getting what, and if they know the trees are coming here on Friday. They're also, all the orders are coming in 3 separate orders. So this is gonna be, I hope, the largest order coming on Friday. There's another one scheduled for Wednesday of next week, and then I don't know when the 3rd delivery is coming. So like I mentioned last month, it's been a little chaotic. But fortunately, fortunately, they're coming in. I at least know that we're getting a delivery. Again, I don't know exactly what's coming in or who's getting what, but plan to just go with the flow on this program and learn from it.
You'll find out when it gets here, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, she coordinated with Norm.
Yeah, so I've been working with the Parks Department, but
Okay.
again, Friday is a holiday for us,
Yes.
so they won't be here. So it's kind of up to me to make sure that everything gets put at least in the right spot and that the
This is
tractor
the
trailer
logistical
can get
nightmare.
back here. A little bit. But people are getting trees and there's,
Excellent, yes.
2,000 some
And every
trees
day
coming
I
into
see
the
more and more trees being taken down, so.
Right. So,
Wonderful.
so outside of that, we did award 3 Tree Vitalized Watershed grants this spring, earlier this month. So CRC Watershed Association is doing a project at Lewis Scott Park. Delaware Riverkeeper Network is working with Chichester School District to do some planting at Chichester High School. And this will be actually a phase 2 project. They did one a couple years ago on the school property. And then the Upper Darby Shade Tree Commission will be planting at the Lower Swedish Cabin.
Nice.
And we did receive one other grant application. And there was some, I had to communicate with the applicant and see if they could come down on their grant award amount because they had a lot of contracting costs, which is higher than what the program would like to see. I'm having a hard time getting in touch with the funders to be able to negotiate with them and give them their award. So hopefully very soon we will have a 4th award, and that would be for DCBA at the Bullcroft property, the Bullcroft Township.
They do need trees. Yes.
Besides that and everything else I covered, I think that is everything that I wanted to highlight, unless there's any questions.
That's great. So nice that all of you are working so hard. Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do you want help on
If you want, that'd be great.
You're gonna use Ari's muscle for Friday?
Yep.
Excellent. Thanks, Karen.
Mhm.
Okay, next up is, are we done? Are we done? I
Yeah.
believe we are. How about that? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Good, Steve, thank you. A second, please.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll do 2 Steves. No waiting. And everybody have a happy holiday weekend. Get out your Easter balls. Thank you very much. It's Good to see you, Elaine, even though you're kind of faded and glowy over there.
A tree in your Easter basket.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the tree in your Easter basket.
And, Karen, what are you doing? What are you guys doing?
Okay, here's your check.